Sigh. Aquí estoy, wasting my afternoon trying to find enough fake blood and cheap coffins to satisfy Manuel's grand vision. Porque apparently that's my job now. Logistics. Él dice, claro.
I shake my head with a smirk at Breixo's drama, always complaining ese. I type out a quick response. Ay, pobrecito Breixo. Having to do actual work for once. Qué tragedia. Look, just get it done, okay? We need those supplies ASAP.
I roll my eyes at Manuel's message. Sí, como usted diga, Su Majestad, I mutter sarcastically under my breath. I sigh heavily before typing out a response. Look, I'm working on it, okay? But it's not exactly easy finding bulk zombie makeup and prop weapons on short notice, especially not with the tiny budget you gave me. I pause, then add with a hint of annoyance. So unless you want me to rob a Halloween store, you'll have to be patient.
Ay, ya está bien con el sarcasm, Breixo. I roll my eyes as I type out my reply. Stop being so dramatic. No necesitamos Hollywood-level props here. Just get creative. Beg, borrow, steal if you have to. Well, maybe don't actually steal. I backtrack quickly. But you know what I mean. Improvisar es key. We'll make it work. I try to inject some positivity and motivation into the chat. Animo, you got this. Think outside the coffin box. I send a little wink at the end, hoping to lighten the mood.
I have some decorations I can lend you guys, actually.
I glance up from tuning my keyboard to check the messages, raising an eyebrow at the bickering as usual. Typical. I quickly skim through the exchange before tapping out a brief response. Right then, suppose I ought to weigh in before you lot come to blows over plastic fangs and face paint, I remark dryly. Lark, darling, I'm happy to pop round and assess your mum's decor stash. Though I must say, the mental image of her hoarding zombie apocalypse gear is rather unsettling.
Pooft, cállate, Vicente. You're just jealous you didn't think of it first, I retort, rolling my eyes at his snarky comment. Anyway, moltes gracias. Lark, that'd be chulo. Every bit helps, right?
Ay, Vicente, lighten up, man. It's supposed to be fun. Un poco de sangre falsa never hurt nadie. I grin to myself, imagining his disapproving scowl. Anyway, gracias, Lark, for offering the decorations. Anything helps, especially since Senior Drama Queen is struggling. Gotta keep these guys in line, you know. I'm the one holding this loco band together.
I sigh heavily, pinching the bridge of my nose as I read the latest barrage of messages. Gracias por la confianza, Manuel. Realmente inspirador. I type out sarcastically into the group chat, not bothering to hide my annoyance.
Listen up, all of you, I type out brusquely, my thumbs flying across my phone screen. I'm sick and tired of all the whining and petty jabs. We have work to do, don't we? So let's get on with it already. Breixo, stop complaining and get the supplies. Vicente, stop being such a snob and help with the decorations. And Manuel, for the love of God, give it a rest with the macho act. We all know you're compensating for something. I roll my eyes as I hit send, my patience running thin with their nonsense. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a guitar solo to compose. Try not to kill each other before the show, por favor. I toss my phone aside, turning my full attention back to my guitar, my fingers dancing across the strings as I pour my frustrations into the music.
I raise an eyebrow at Elias's message, a smirk tugging at my lips. Always so uptight, that one. I type out a quick response, my thumbs flying across the screen. Ay, cálmate, Elias. No need to get your pantalones in a twist. I tease, not letting his attitude ruffle my feathers. We're just having a little fun, sabes? Loosen up a bit, maybe you'll enjoy life more. I shake my head, chuckling softly to myself. As for me, compensating? Please, I got nothing to prove, ese. Confidence ain't compensation. I lean back in my chair, stretching lazily. Anyway, I'm off to charm some university chicas into being our zombie extras. Wish me luck, cabrones.
I suppress a groan at yet another tiresome display of masculine posturing from Elias and Manuel. Really, it's like watching a pair of peacocks strutting about, each desperately trying to outdo the other. Pathetic, truly. I roll my eyes, my fingers hovering over the screen as I consider my response. Snobbery would imply I actually care enough to feel superior, Elias. I type out dryly. Trust me, your antics hardly warrant such strong feelings. Now, if you'll excuse me, I believe I have some decorations to appraise. Cheers, gents. I silence my phone with a satisfied smirk, slipping it into my pocket as I head out to meet Lark, leaving the childish squabbles behind.
Chicos, calmaos, I chime in, trying to lighten the mood. There's room for everyone to shine at this zombie fest. I grin impishly. Speaking of shining, I've been working on some killer moves for my solo, going to blow the crowd away. I flex my fingers dramatically, miming a drum roll. Between that and Manuel's charm, Should be quite the show. Veremos who steals the spotlight.
I roll my eyes at Luke's antics, shaking my head with a smirk. Sure thing, Lucito. You just keep dreaming big, Güero. I chuckle, knowing full well I'll be the one leaving the crowd screaming for mas. Anyway, got a jet. These chicas won't charm themselves into being my zombie army. I pocket my phone and saunter out, ready to work my magic on the unsuspecting co-eds. Little do they know, they're about to become part of the greatest zombie spectacle Madrid has ever seen. I rub my hands together gleefully. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good.
Oye, ¿qué dijo? ¿Yusito? I sputter, my cheeks flushing red with indignation as I read Manuel's message. It's Luke, vamos! Not Luch, not Yusito, just Luke. ¿Cuántas veces tengo que decírtelo, Manuel? I jab angrily at my phone screen, my thumbs flying as I type out my heated response. Show some respect, tío. My name isn't hard to remember. Uy, Quinacolla. I huff, shaking my head in frustration. Why does he always have to push my buttons like that?
Scale right, good point. I concede with a sigh, mentally calculating the logistics involved. Bloody hell, why did I sign on for this madcap scheme again? Oh right, because I'm a glutton for punishment apparently. I run a hand through my hair, mussing it further than usual. Suppose we'll have to prioritize then. Focus on creating a few key areas of maximum impact, rather than trying to spread ourselves too thin, eh? I mull it over, considering the layout of the venue. Perhaps a central stage area for the performances, and then a handful of smaller set pieces scattered throughout. A crypt here, a gruesome crime scene there, that sort of thing.
She twirls a lock of hair around her finger, a coy smile playing at the corners of her lips.
But what exactly would we have to do?
Her friends lean in closer, clearly eager to hear more. I grin, knowing I've got them hooked. Well, mi amor, picture this. You and your friends, transformed into the most stunning undead creatures imaginable, leading the charge through the streets as part of our epic zombie parade. Then, once we reach the venue, you'll get to party the night away at our exclusive zombie-themed concert. Free drinks, amazing music, and a chance to let loose like never before. What more could you ask for? I spread my hands, painting a vivid picture with my words. So, who's ready to embrace their inner undead and join the horde?
Okay, we're in. Sounds like it could be a lot of fun.
Her friends murmur their agreement, smiles spreading across their faces. I flash them a triumphant grin, my eyes sparkling with mischief. Excelente. You won't regret it, I promise. I pull out my phone, ready to seal the deal. Alright, let me get your numbers and I'll send you all the details. And feel free to invite any other friends who might want to join the zombie horde. The more, the merrier, right? As I collect their contact info, I can't help but feel a surge of pride. This festival is gonna be legendary, and with these chicas on board, it's guaranteed to be unforgettable. Azul Fónico's star is on the rise, and nothing can stop us now.
I sigh heavily, running a hand through my hair as I stare blankly at the list of supplies needed for this ridiculous zombie festival. Esto es ridículo. I mutter under my breath, wondering how I got roped into this madness in the first place. I glance down at my watch, realizing I've been standing in the middle of the hardware store for far too long. With a resigned shake of my head, I grab a card and begin tossing in various items, fake blood, plastic chains, and enough duct tape to wrap around the entire city twice. This is going to be a disaster, I can already tell. But hey, at least it'll be a memorable one.
I sigh heavily as I trudge down the bustling street, clutching a stack of freshly printed flyers to my chest. The sun beats down mercilessly, causing sweat to trickle down my brow. Merde de, what have I gotten myself into? I mutter, pausing briefly to fan myself with the colorful papers. I glance down at the top flyer, admiring the gruesome zombie artwork I spent hours perfecting. This better be worth it, I grumble, squaring my shoulders and pressing onward. I spot a group of students lounging outside a cafe and make a beeline towards them, plastering on my most enthusiastic smile. Hola, ¿os gusta la música y los zombies? Tengo el evento perfecto para vosotros. I thrust a flyer into their hands, launching into my well-rehearsed spiel about Azul Fónico's upcoming zombie festival. Their eyes widen with interest, and I feel a surge of pride. Maybe this crazy plan of ours might actually work.
I sit hunched over my guitar, fingers flying over the strings as I work out the intricate riffs for my zombie-themed solo. The silence of the empty room surrounds me as I lose myself in the music, pouring all my frustration and pent-up energy into the aggressive chords. Sweat beads on my forehead, but I don't bother wiping it away, too focused on perfecting each note. This piece needs to be brutal, raw, and unforgiving, a reflection of the chaos and desperation of a zombie apocalypse. I play the final chord with a savage strum, the sound reverberating off the walls. I set my guitar aside and stand abruptly, stretching out the kinks in my neck. I need a break, I mutter to myself. This whole zombie festival idea is absurd, but at least it gives me an excuse to push the boundaries of my playing. That's the only silver lining in this mess. I grab my jacket and head out, the door slamming shut behind me with a resounding thud.